Hi guys, it's Mark from the ASSO Garage 68 in France, and today we gotta speak a word about the Team ASSO rival MT8. You already have enough English speaking unboxing from the car, even some tests. I invite you to check JT's RC channel and many others for sure. Just do not go for the commercial channel who get the stuff for free and always are super happy, super tough, super beautiful, super amazing, incredible. And check out the true channel. So we're gonna speak from the outside from the car to the inside. Some stuff you maybe already hear about, and some different stuff. So we're gonna attack. We're gonna also talk about. I not have driven yet, so do not forget. We first speak about static, what we feel with our experience. Don't forget, I'm a mechanic, how to say in English, and I have 30 years of experience in that, and also in RC cars. I have drive maybe all you find on the market on RC cars. In the stuff I love, for sure, buggies, truggies, muggies, monster truck, short course, desert buggies, all the raw stuff, even a few crawler, maybe all on-road car you can find in especially 1/8 scale. I'm not a 1/10 scale freak, however it's just short course and monster trucks. I'm not a small scale freak, but I love some of them. Already also tested most of the big scales, also not all, because I not have the right feel to use it here. So what I don't like, it's not that I don't like, it's not also a negative point, is just that's not so good as we expect on the paper. First of all, on the paper, I was expecting that the MT8 was like the rival 380mm wheel stand. They go down to a buggy short wheelbase. That means the size from a Savage X Flux or the old Savage HP Flux, like the Arma Outcast, Notorious, all that stuff, Corelli, Jumbo, and that other stuff that they do, like Traxxas Max V1, like Corelli Scatter. And we see many brands say that is a 110, that is a 1.8, but no matter, they are all in the same size. The major difference is just how wide they are. Corelli say take the buggy chassis with the buggy axles, put small tire on it, and say it's a 110 scale, but it's a 1.8 buggy just put in a monster truck. So we have a heavy weight, 4.5 to 4.7 kilograms. They choose to put 86mm motor in there. It's enough to make the car move. They choose to go just 4S to not have too much power. So because they know what happens when you put something small out with a 6S power, they know that people are gonna destroy it. So they go for 4S. Traxxas use also a 1.8 scale drivetrain from the Revo 2. We have big differential, big tools in there. Really like that. We have a gear reduction, what's for me really important on a monster truck. And they choose the best motor they can choose for make this car move. It's enough for making move, but it's really the motor pulls out anything it can to just move. Not so powerful that the skater. All the Armor stuff has the 6S combo inside. It's the buggy chassis with the truggy axle. For me, strange choice, just for the aesthetic. I don't like the car to be so bright as long, or wide as long. Is really, I don't like it, but I understand people who want this. Also heavyweight, but they choose 6S. In the case for Carrosserie and Arma, they all have the same problem. They use small diff gears, small diff tools, and when you put bigger, heavier tires on it, you get a problem. That's also why Carrosserie goes for smaller tire. They really do the thing smarter. I really like that. We don't speak about especially the price from the cars. We know that Traxxas are gone far away. They maybe use basics put the price up, and it's a little bit crazy regarding the fact that you need 4 steel CVD and a real motor in the truck to really can use it as a bashing monster truck with power, even if you let the car in forest. If you haven't not tested, I really swear if you put a Hobbywing 2200 kV 4274 motor in the Traxxas Max with the same gearing as stock, even maybe 1 tooth more, the truck gonna be so fast as stock but way more powerful, and you're gonna see that you're gonna get more runtime because the motor needs less forces because it has more torque and more power, and not just a little bit, really much more power. But we're gonna talk about motor size in a few minutes. Don't forget the Techno-RC MT410. Techno-RC is also the buggy chassis with the truggy axle. They claim it's 1/10 scale. They go for smaller tires because they also have small tools at differential. And the gear reduction, if you have too small and too less and not enough tools and the diffs, is a problem because you need a big center main gear and a small motor pinion. That's what Carrosserie and Arma has done in their trucks. It's not the best choice. A small pinion at the motor has enormous torques on the tools, and it's in many cases fast an issue when you begin to jumps and make a drive failure. You're gonna destroy motor or gearing. Many people experience that. That's why I really prefer in monster truck a gear reduction. So that's for all the truck I know from the same size or just coming to me in the head, and for sure the Red Cat Kaiju. Red Cat Kaiju is that truck, but with a plastic chassis. The plastic chassis has one thing good. He is done this way, higher in the center than just a flat chassis. That's also for me something I really need on a monster truck, is a chassis with higher in the center for have more off-road capability as a flat chassis. Flat chassis are easier to drive. It's usually what we name it a muggy here in Europe. That means a truggy with monster truck tires. And in any case, you have by all brands, even the best, that issue with the small tools in the differentials and this issue with the heavy weight from the tire. So in this type of size, only the Traxxas Max has gear reduction, and you can take the Team Magic E6, also available by Red Cat Racing. It's a 350 wheelbase, so it's also like the Max V2. He has big tools in there, he has a gear reduction and a not flat chassis. We have for sure the Savage Flux, or if it's the X Flux or the HP Flux, it's the same stuff. You have a higher ground clearance in the center, and you have a gear reduction, and you have humongous 6S power in the Savage Flux. I'm happy HPI is come back alive. I'm not happy about the Traxxas size prices. But it's all we have, so we deal with it, and we like it, we love it. Even if we complain about that stuff who broke too fast, or this is not like we want. In the end effect, I have it all because I love RC. So don't take wrong my complaint. So, major difference between the Red Cat Kaiju and this one is the chassis and the way they do the gearing in center. The Kaiju is like the Traxxas Max, motor in the rear, reduction in the rear. Problem is the chassis flex too much. Many people breaks the chassis and the gear reduction. We know from the Kaiju we have issues with the A-arms and some plastics. Red Cat is not the brand who does the truck. It's like the TMSO Rival MT10, it's from another one, and we see that type from construction by the Chinese V-Car. V-Car make the V-Car Bison. It's a little trucky, like an e-Revo and smaller. It's not a good truck. It's not a bad truck if you just use it normally, 2-3S. It's not a basher. Then also not claim it's a basher. It's just an RC car for fun. But I have some issue with the chassis flex, and this flex destroys the main gears from differential front and rear because the way they have done it. And it's the same problem in the Kaiju, because you have the main transmission straight from front to rear. When the chassis flexes, all the stuff comes together. You have too much stress, and then you destroy main gearing, center or front and rear, and all that stuff. Other brands has experienced that type of construction, have the same issues. And like the TMSO Rival MT10, who is the Helion the Helion Dominus back in the time, we hope that TMSO here has done a better job on the truck. The Helion was not a bad truck, not the best. The price was nice. The Arrival MT10 has also nice price. We have also not too much power in there, but it's just right for beginner. Here in Europe you can get it for 320 euros naked, or 350 with battery and charger, a 2S LiPo, and charger 370, 380 with a 3S battery in 5000 milliamp. And that's good stuff for beginning, because you have to change nothing in the truck. It holds well. I do not like what they done as spare part politic. That means if you break one A-arm, you have to pay all four. On a 1/10 scale, it's not a big deal, and you even can use the left and the right side. It's not done for, but you can do it. So, okay, but I really prefer to get just a pair front, a pair rear, and all that stuff. But the truck holds on very pretty. Even in 3S, we have nice tires, nice suspension, 3 differential in there. Even if out from the box the oil is a little bit too less thick, it's easier for beginner to get the truck in hand. After that they can change themselves the oil, especially the center, to have more front spinning wheels. So, and we see in the MT10 that he was better than the Alien. We have better differential in there, better material at the steel and alloys. And I was happy to discover that, because when I get it first, I really fear that it was exactly the same as the Helion. So V-Car is also not the brand who make the truck. We don't know who to beginning made this truck. V-Car is also just a second brand. So now TMSO does this V-Car stuff also. They do not take the plastic chassis, which is not bad if the plastic chassis was a better quality. And this is, however, many people don't like Traxxas. Keep in mind, the Traxxas plastics are just awesome. They have, for the moment, for the hobby drivers, the best plastics you can get. It's clear if you go to competition brand, we have Techno, Lozi, the ASSO competition branch. All that stuff is also super nice, good plastics. But for the hobby grade stuff, Traxxas has really make a great job. Okay, we have issue a chassis with the sledge, but regarding the axles, with that weight, when you crash the car to destroy something at the axle from the Traxxas sledge, you have to go really hard and heavy. I was not able to destroy anything at my sledge plastic wise. That means with that weight it's really good and tough. So have I make all? Yes, we go to all. So now before speak on motor and size and electronic, we gonna swap to the no, we was at the not so good point. So I expected this truck last year, but they announced us in Europe we only can get it about February, and then was March, April, and now it's May until I get the truck. Because of that, we already see at many American channel who get the truck before us, long time before us, that we have some strange issue with A-arms. Not a strange issue, the A-arms are like the Kaiju, so I really hoped that Team ASSO used better plastic than the on the Red Cat Kaiju, but it's not the case. It's the same plastics. We all wait also for RPM to do some better stuff at the A-arms, or for Team ASSO themselves to make an upgrade. That's really what we prefer to have. Please, Team ASSO, can you make A-arms like you do at your competition buggies and truggies for that truck? That will solve all problems and would be really nice. So we have issue with the counter-strong upper arms here. They not use the same steel as on the Red Cat version, and the Red Cat versions are tougher. Many people use the Techno upper stuffs, but they are having price, and if you have to buy the truck and put that and put this on, the price going higher. So we're gonna make now a little curve at price. 550 euros what we pay here for the MT8. That's okay with the price, because HPI is on 850, so they not sell much. They go down slightly to 750, 770 for the same size truck. You have the Corrales scatter, even if you have smaller tires. I would say it's the same stuff size wise, just narrower on the spoor. So this one is 490 at the lowest price in some shop, but is rated also at same price that this one. Difference between the two, I would say, smaller tires at the Corrales and 4S electronic. Here we have 6S, a little bit bigger tires and a little bit wider. I prefer personally the size from that one. And what get we else for that price? You get bigger stuff for that price. You can have for 550 euros the Serpent MTE in 380, 390 size, and the, where is it here, Obama Hyper MT Sport Plus for the same price. But you need in the MT Sport the tentative more, so the price is gonna be higher, 100 euros. The Traxxas Max, even if it's V1, V2, it's a high priced. Here in Europe we pay for that truck, hold you at the table and to hold you at the desk, 650 euros, and you need, if you run it a little bit harder, to put the steel CVD in there, 120 euros more CVD and wheel hacks, and you still have this tiny little wiki motor. I do not like. It's not a bad. If you like it, if you are happy with your truck, it's okay, but we like it a little bit more powerful. So, and the Techno MT price class way higher, because you get it naked. You have to put electronic in there, the body, the tires. So you get at 800 to 900 euros to get a Techno RC finished with some good electronics for sure, with unbuckleable body and nice tires on it. And that's why this price after box seems to be okay if the truck works well and fine and live long. So now enough speaking around the truck. It's time to begin with what's in the truck. First of all, I love this one, serrated wheel nuts. because not many brands do it anymore. Traxxas does it at the Esc Mount 8 as a beginning. Now it's an optional part. Carrosserie don't do it. Arma don't do it. Back in the time, what I really prefer the most by Team Associated, exactly them. They have done back in the time wheel nuts with nil stop. There was a little rubber in the nuts to hold it in place, and this was really nice. If someone of you knows where to get this anyway, because I don't find it anymore here in Europe, even on eBay or some stuff, I really try to get from that stuff. Maybe I'm checking out if I have maybe one or two laying around here to show you. And nope, maybe they are mounted on a truck. So this was really what I prefer, but this is a good point. We have a nice long can for the threads. That's also something I like at the Traxxas eRevo 2 we also have so long threads. The Axial Yeti XL kit version has also so long threads. I love this because I really like my nuts to set over the threads. Depending on wheels you use, some wheels are a little bit fatter in the center here, so the nut is not really nice over the threads. So this is something I like. You have here also a bright stamp. Many brands make their Arma make until V4. Even on the V5, I think at the first V5 we have this small, just thin hex here, which is a problem because the wheel really fast go over the hex. Now they have fixed it since Fireteam. We have this new hex. Yeah, even at the Mojave EXB there I have this thin hex. So here is no failure from Team ASSO for that. That's nice. We have 60.8.5 bearings at the wheels for the bearings. That's nice. We have CVD anywhere, steel CVD, also good point, the four same. For sure we have counter-strong everywhere. We have nil stops here for take the axle, something I like. I like it more than just the pins with one little screws. They have done it here, but here you have in general less stress. And as you see, you have two fixing points, so nothing will move here. We're gonna see if something can happen like at the Traxxas with the flex. If you have too much flex that just pop open, the axle flies out. So something we're gonna check out. It's not bad if it's a fuse part, because it's also really fast refixed at the field. We have alloy plates to hold the arm in place. That's also something I like. But like Arma, Carrosserie and Traxxas, it's soft alloy. So they do it thicker because it's not so good alloy to hold on enough. I prefer here really good alloy and not so thick parts because of the weight. Even it's a little bit weightless, but especially because two type of parts are about as the same. Most of the time, if you hit, just bend easy. So I prefer to get really good plastic at this point as weak alloy. And I do not understand why they just not go for steel like the Traxxas Esc Mount. Traxxas Esc Mount has steel plates. They never break. Okay, then they can get rusty, but it's so tough, I really like it. But the truck is not so heavy, so we're gonna see if it's enough for this truck. I like the look from the suspension, 4mm suspension shaft here, shock shaft, but I'm a little bit concerned when I see that. I love plastic caps. I have it on Traxxas, I have it on my Savages, and my Obaos has even just a alloy cap, but this part is also plastic, Serpent also, but it's make way beefier. If the plastic is class 1, it's not a problem, but I don't know what's gonna happen here. I really think this is a little bit small, and I do not understand from Team ASSO why they use these shocks instead of use what they already have everywhere at buggies and truggies competition size, because this is a shock more at part number. If they use what they use at competition buggy and truggy, it's the same part, so they sell more, so the price also maybe gonna fit for the end budget for the car. And we are sure that what they use at the competition truggy buggies are really amazing good shocks. But I keep hope that this one gonna make the job as same thing. So we have a nice suspension travel, unlike the Carrosserie Scatter. The Carrosserie Scatter is really way down on the ground. You cannot put more suspension travel because they have a big mistake at the angle between the CVD or dog bone and the output drive shafts when suspension is fall out and full in. I try it. If you go just 3-4 millimeter more down at the Carrosserie, the wheel began to jump like it's the bad stuff. ZD Racing DBX07, that's a bad truck. Don't trust them. It's okay for scaling around, but no more. So back to this truck. This is something many brands have issue with. Brands who not have issue with that are all competition brands. It's alright. Traxxas has really big angles and suspension travel without any issue about that. They really have this at the point. Hobao has no issue with that. This one has no issue with that. Arma has some issue with that, especially at full suspension compression. Don't tell me you never lose or pop out a CVD at your Arma truck. You have to put some spacer here to provide the suspension to go full in and take suspension, the CVD or dog bone out. Sen has this problem. Also, most of Horizon hobby cars, not competition, not TLR stuff, but what they do for hobby grade. Horizon Hobby is one of the most brands who use bump stops because they have wrong angles to not hit in there. The low Z3 XL, this causes destruction from differential. So I'm happy to see that here we have not this issue, but like he comes out from the box, it's just at his maximum. When you look here, the pin is just at the maximum he can do. If you go one hole more down here, take care because he will go out. And the other stuff is that wise. When you look here, if you put suspension full together, the CVD just is on the limit from the drive shaft. That's nice. Also full down. Sorry, you don't see it. Here. Full down, we just are the limit. Full up, we are just on the limit. That's nice. And this is the maximum you can do. I repeat it, if you go here, take care. It's gonna be too much and you're gonna pop it out or destroy something in differentials. Because of the longer arms and the longer shocks than Carrosserie, you have the better ground clearance and the better suspension travel. The Traxxas Max has another issue. He has this type of suspension travel, but he has the eRevo 2 main gears and differential. That means the diff case is way bigger because of the bigger size from the differential. That's why at the sledge they go smaller. And because of that, you lose ground clearance in the middle here because the diff case comes down. That's what I also miss. The Traxxas Max has not more ground clearance than the Carrosserie Scatter. This one has a little bit more. That's nice. It's clear if you take all the buggies with truggy axles, Carrosserie or Arma and all that stuff, Carrosserie MT410, these are champion because you have longer A-arms than here and even a little bit longer shocks. Then comes the nice part. I discovered that we have at differential output and intake, we have bigger bearings like Traxxas sledge size, but this car is only about 5 kilograms, not say 6.5. So we have really big bearings on there. That's something I really like. We have a strange thing here, and this is related to the fact that the first version from them by Red Cat Racing had the plastic chassis. Plastic chassis is higher in the center than this one, and the transmission is made different wise. And they use here the same axle as the Red Cat Racing, so they have to adapt a part more to get it straight with the transmission like a stock buggy or truggies. They put a plastic part more here. This part is just bolted underneath at the transmission case through the pin holder here. It's free over there. It's just in a little bushing, but you can move it. It's really, I will show you. That's really strange, but do not mean this truck don't gonna work fine. You see here, you can move it really easy. Here, it's flex. And here is the bearing inside. And the bearing is not holding in there. It's not popped in. That's something I like by Traxxas, Hobao, and many brands. If you put the bearing in there, it's nice in there. Just not at the Traxxas Max. So, if you put here the output drive shaft out, the bearing comes really, look at this, it just pops out. This not gonna happen to you in drive. I'm gonna explain you just in a few moments why. But I do not like when the bearings are just free in the parts, if it's plastic or alloy. That's an issue we have many times at bad alloy parts, GPM, even at hot racing we have sometimes that, year racing and all that stuff. The bearing, if it's not really sealed in the case, when you're driving, while vibration or heat, the outer ring here, this is a bearing, it means this have to hold on in place and this part moves. But if the bearing is such free as here, you can have the problem that the bearing moves in the plastics. This is steel, stainless steel, and if it moves in plastics or in even an alloy, he gonna destroy the part which is in, and you're gonna get play here and wear, and in any time after a few hours of using, it's gonna be destruction from some part. Usually when a bearing moves at the axles, it's just gonna destroy the C-hubs, not a big issue. You have to, especially at the Traxxas Max, it's really a problem with that. After some heat, the bearing just move around in there. It has really no more hold in there. But if it happens at transmission side, don't forget you have here gearing going inside. So the gear on the other side begin to move and gonna wear the other gear or destroy the tooth. You have two cases, or you have two less place for the two gearing and the two's gonna destroy themselves on each another, or you're gonna have too much and they just gonna, you know what I mean? The strange noise we don't like at many trucks who needs a lot of shine and a shine from a shine and a overshining. It's also something happens because we are going too hard with our truck, we know it, but we love this. So you're wondering how this not gonna move when all is in place, because you have the center differential and you have the dog bones. The center dog bones and differentials are the parts who are gonna stop this from move and to have less play long-wise, they put rubber in there. That's something we used to do since a long time in horse sport. Usually we put one rubber front and rear just to provide the dog bone to clap around or pop out if you have some flex. Here they go for two differential side and one anytime front and rear. So the center dog bones are really squeezed in there to not have any move from the bearing. So this is the point we're gonna have to test what's gonna happen with the chassis, because at the Red Cat racing car this is a main issue, because the chassis flex. If you have the chassis plate and many times you flex this way, it happened to flex the overrise when you hit something hard underneath. That's why we love monster truck with a higher center, and that's why we love good plastic chassis. And this is the biggest problem on a flat chassis, is anytime you land at center you do that, so the chassis opens itself, center dog bone can be popped out, and you also many times bend the chassis, because the most of the brand has chassis brace to provide this move, but nothing to provide that move. It comes more and more and more with this type of brace, but this is also something we had back in the time. In the 90s we had double deck chassis who do not have that problem, but they always do something new, so we always buy something new and it works, and we are all happy with, the brand are happy with, because we buy it and we are happy to have something new. So we also buy it, even if you look back in the time, you haven't changed anything. So the worst move is anytime this, because the distance gonna be shorter for the dog bones. That's why Carrosserie have issue with bended dog bones in the chassis. Carrosserie has too soft alloy like Arma and Traxxas, and the chassis bent this way, so the center dog bones are squeezed. Many brands use, because of that, flex steel, so the steel come back. Traxxas uses extruded tube that also works fine, with enough free play front and rear to keep the move, to can be moved. So by Carrosserie, the dog bones bend in the center and never come back. They leave bent and they turn that wise. That's why they do a stiffener with a stiffener with a stiffener with a chassis brace with a reinforcement. So I hope this is not gonna happen here, because when you bend that way, when the dog bone hits the drive cups, it's the same issue that we have here I talked before. If the dog bone hit the bottom of the drive cup, you squeeze differential. If it's only happen at one side, you have some move in there, it's okay. But the worst is anytime, and this is a big issue with the Losi 3 XL, if you land that wise, that means one tire higher than the other, the chassis go more far down as just boom, flat on ground. He goes a little bit more down, and then both CVD or dog bone hit the bottom of the drive shafts and squeeze together the differential. You have here pressure this wise, and then you destroy the in-life from the differentials. This can happen here if the chassis flex this way. If you not have enough play, dog bone's gonna destroy center diff, or gonna push the, where is it? Moment. Oh, it's in place here. The main diff gear gonna be pushed forward and gonna press here at the diff main gear, and you're gonna have some gear puree. So we hope it's not gonna happen. In the moment, no one has claimed of any issue of type of that. We just heard about that and some arm destroying, and that's something, that's a good point. That's why I buy the truck. In the beginning I want it, then we have more time to get it, more time to get it, more time to get it. I learned about that. So I was not really happy. I was thinking to not get one, but I love RC. I have to get one. So we have talking about the case. It's the same in the front. We have talking about the center, and we're gonna talk about the major good point from this truck. We was all waiting for a long time to get a brand who listen to us and make a complete, even if they do a flat chassis with a center diff like it's standard in buggies and truggies, a damned diff case protection. It's not the only one. We don't talk about here Traxxas for sure. You know Traxxas, just not in the sledge, has anywhere closed transmission case. It's not completely closed. Little dirt anytime can go in, but not big stuff who can destroy your pinion or your motor. That's a major error by Arma and Corrali. They don't listen, they don't do it. They have no opening underneath here for the dirt, and no protection for the main gears. Carbone is a German brand. It's a rebrander, like FTX, FS Racing, BSD Racing, and all that stuff, like Red Cat. So they just rebrand stuff, but they have it. They have at a buggy and a little truggy a gear cover. That's something really, this is a plus point for me. I really hoped that Traxxas has done it at the sledge, but they do not done it. In most of the case, and 1/8 scale, you have no gear transmission cover, and you have less issue because the main tools are done this way. It means the dirt who comes cannot be left in the tools. They split out from the tools. And Traxxas goes for flat tools. That's an error because the dirt can go on the tools. Then comes the motor pinion, and then it's a Dios transmission. Team ASSO has done it, but they have a gear transmission cover, so you have no problem with that. I love that. Steering is also something a little bit different. The steering is popped up at a Cavalier, and if you wonder why, because it's the same steering that the Red Cat Racing, remember, with the not flat chassis. So they have to do a spacer, and it's nice, it works. You don't need to have such a big direction steering stuff. It's okay. Then they choose something also, if it would be a buggy or truggy, I would not like to get that here, but on a monster truck it's okay. We have here a plastic, just forget the name, Ackerman plate here, and this is not bad because in the most of the time on our trucks we destroy something at the steering when you see you're gonna hit something. You brake, the truck goes down, and then you hit both tires, fall lock it in the stuff, and it means the tire take the shock that way or that way, and in this case you destroy or something at the hubs or a counterstrunk, or you bend or destroy something at steering Ackerman plate. And in this case of plastic stuff, it flex just around. So if you want a precise truck, you don't like to get this because it's a little bit too soft. But this is a monster truck. You have big, beefy, soft tires, which I forget to talk. They feel really good. No one claims about ungluing and destroying from these tires. And this is something I like because we have so many issues. HPI, unglued, destroyed. G concept unglued and wheel hacks destroyed. Our Traxxas sledge tires unglued, foam really fast destroyed. So I'm really disappointed at this time because we are, I feel, back in a time in early 2000s when we had no monster truck tires able to hold on brushless power. We had back in the time in the early 2000s many nitro trucks. We have no special issue with the tires because we have not much power. Then comes the brushless. We go too far with brushless power, putting 6S in the Traxxas Max, in the Savage HP and all that stuff. And we have tires problem. We destroy the compound, we unglue the tires, we destroy the wheels. Then the stuff slightly begin to be better, especially with Proline. Then comes Louis RC and some other brands. That was nice. But now, 2022, I even do not remember which tire was good. The only one who holds on for the moment are the Louis MFT there. The ST are okay because it's not too heavy, it's 400 gram. For sure, if you take the monster tires 3.8, 500 grams, and also by Proline the HP tires 500 grams. They do not unglue. No, it's also wrong. I unglued my Proline HP tires, but it's clear I'm not destroyed because they are too heavy. 500 grams tires, it's too much. So I really hope that some brand would do something. I really expected really much from the G concept tires. The tires are okay, but look at this. If this is okay for you, G concept, it's not for us. You just have glue at the outside here. Look at this. You have no glue in the wheel bed. And look at the tire. You have absolutely nothing at the tire lips. And this is something I complained by every brand in the moment. Just not Jetco. But the Jetco tires are hard and stiff like stone, and the only place I really love to drive the Jetco tires or SRC, it's the same issue, on an off-road crusher is on-road, because they are way too stiff. So I'm happy to have a real monster truck tire, a balloon tire, but it's not gonna balloon too much, like the GT2 from HPI. That's a tire I don't like the way it looks, but I like the way he handles. We have ballooning but no explosion until you go too far, but that is your fault if you go too far. So I really expect and hope the same thing here. This little tire are quite heavy, 340 grams for such a small tire. That's heavy because it's heavier than the Traxxas Sledgehammer tire. But I hope that we have good foams, good glue, and no issue with the wheel hacks. So I feel really good about that. The other stuff I forget before we're gonna talk more about electronic in the truck and more what's in the truck at transmission side. We already talked about the bearing there. So I feared that the body was too thin, like any brand does in the moment, or not fully Lexan, too much PVC. For me, it looks ugly. I don't like these pastel colors, blue and yellow. The average form is just apart from a monster truck, but it reminds you the monster truck maximum destruction. From form wise, I prefer a little bit more old school, but it had to be something also for the newcomers, for the young guys. I understand that. I also love the Awa MT Sport 1. I really like that body, so it's also such a strange shape. It's just a body, you can easily change it. I miss something in the middle to protect the body. That's a good point for sure Arma. The first brand who does it, RTR, nicely. We had back in the time other stuff, but it was handlebar and not a roll bar. So Arma does it good. Then comes Corelli, also a good solution with the form. I really like that. Traxxas do it their own way. They do a roll cage, is heavier, but it's also provide the body to be the bodies, even if they not good quality, holds really longer with this roll cage inside. Here you have a little bit of protection. You have some stiffener bar in there with the hood protection, but nothing more. So you always have the same issue at all your monster truck. Because of just 4 body posts, when you land on the roof, you're gonna squeeze it and destroy here and here. I missed something here to protect the body pins to be pop out. You have nothing. So the body pins really fast pop out. I really like when they do something with the Lexan to protect the body post a little bit, a bump here on the side. What I think is that they should do something going from there down here at the window, go in the front and close here with the front grille. And from the outside, especially not inside, but just continue these bars here, so the body post will be protected, and you also have a nice complete form to roll over without have too much weight. So the same thing as in the back, but in the front. And to make this little bars a little bit longer to the little rear. It's not really a wing. It's just more in purpose to take the hits when you overroll. So I hope V2 gets a little bit better stuff here. However, the body is nice, it's thick. I feared PVC, but it's not. If you squeeze it and bend it, you have no white spur here. When you squeeze your body, it begins to be white. That means it's PVC and it's something really fast break. But this is Lexan and it's pretty tough Lexan. I have to say, it's okay. I like the super soft body post here. That's nice also, because many brands make it too stiff and they break. I really prefer soft stuff, so it can be squeezed when you roll over, come back in place, and all it's all right. The body pins are also a little, that's 1/10 skill what you give it. It's like Serpent, they also give you just 1/10 skill pins. That's bad because it's bent really fast and go really fast through the body, so you can put some little washer underneath. You have already one underneath, but you can put at the upside a little washer, and I miss something to fix it. Most of the brand has checked it out and use now this little stuff to fix the body pin at the body, not to pop it out, but to not lose your pin when you put it out from the body. It's available aftermarket, it's not an issue, but if we get all in one in the truck, would be better, because you buy this and that and that and that and that, and in the end you have reached the price from a other truck, a bigger truck or a tougher truck, and which in many cases people say, oh, that truck is too heavy in price, I prefer that one. But if you take the other one and how I say, put this and that and that and that, and the end effect you have the same price as this is too heavy in price. So you have to make your choice and leave your mind open. So we're gonna talk now about transmission, and then we're gonna go back to electronic, because it's just an average stuff for all trucks, not just specifically for that one. So transmission wise, we already talked about this special mount for the intake bearing, but it's a big bearing. And if you look here, if you used to do RC, if you're a beginner, you don't know it, but if you're used to it, or if you're used to disassemble your truck, usually, normally you have not that intake from differential. You have something like that. You have that, and you have the main gear at the end. direct looking at the main gear from Differential, mean a complete part who goes through. Here you just have the half driving in one pinion. I just wanna show, sorry, oh no! Come out here. I wanna show it. Come out, pal. We see you. No chance to get through about it. You have to come out here. Cooperate or die. Come on. Yeah. It always work. If something not gonna go the way you like, he needs a little bit hits on the ass to go the way you want. So they do the stuff in two parts. So this front part goes through a bearing, not so beefy, it's a little bit smaller. So you have only one bearing here, and then you have this going in there, so you have a little bit play here, and then you have this bearing, who, remember, is just put in a flex part. That means even in the diff cell you have the ability to have a little bit move here. That means the stress here is not fully reported to the front. So even if you have here a little bit move because of the chassis flex or something, it's not gonna heat too fast the diff inside. They do this little adapter parts because of this type of chassis. At the Kaiju you have a main shaft like a Traxxas going directly from the front to the rear. That's why they do it this way. So, and now you see something here I like also. This is bigger than what you see at standard 1/8 kil trucks. These are bigger tools and more tools that by Arma and Corelli and Techno. At Techno it's really a tough truck. It's really good material. Corelli has also checked it out and does it machined. Also nice. Arma has not machined stuff. It's on the way to come. It's already at the XB because they have only a 10 tooth or 11 tooth main gear on a smaller main gear here. That means if you have smaller tools here, you have a main issue in the truck, is that the gear case are plastics, so you have flex in there. Even the bearing, if you have too much stress, the bearing can be squeezed and move, and then you have really fast the tooth over jumping. That's why monster trucks like HPI Savage has enormous tooth. Hobauer Hyper MT Sport has enormous tooth. T-Magic E6 monster truck has enormous tooth. The Sen GSTE has enormous tooth, and those babies has this tooth since 2 decades. So I really not understand why Arma, Corelli and other brand want to do monster truck or muggies with big, fat, heavy tires and keep those small, tiny tools. They do it because they have no reduction gear, so they have to do something to have more reduction in differential, or they have to go for a big, enormous main gear. So I really wonder why Corelli and Arma do not put at the muggies, not on the truggies. The truggy is okay, you have 250 grams, really small tires, thin, with little pins, it's okay. But at our trucks we drive with big fat tires, and remember the tires are heavier and heavier. 490 HP, 500 grams, Lewis MFT 3.8 monster truck tires, 500 grams. The G concept even here are not so big as the Pro HP and the Lewis RC MT38, but already 430 grams. So regarding that, these small tools cannot survive, and that's why I love the big tools. Traxxas eRevo 2 has also that big fat tools. They put it out also in the Traxxas Max. They can do it because of gear reduction. In this sledge, they have no gear reduction, but they choose to go anyway for this type of gearing. That's exactly the same size as in the Traxxas sledge. Also, the bearings are the same size as in Traxxas sledge. So this is a really major good point at this Team ASSO truck. We have for sure 4 satellite, and we have little metal plate to holding that in place in the diff case. That's also a good point, so you have no fear to, when you overheat, see that's something we see at too much trucks. When the cross pin is too hot and melted his way in the diff case. Something you see by Kyosho. When you're 4S it's okay, Kyosho has a problem with 6S. If you go too hard. You see it even at Arma. I see it on the Arma plastic case. That's why they go for alloy in the center. That's why also Corelli goes for alloy in the center. Even if it's possible to do it without it. Losi, Techno, Hobao. Remember, Hobao is a cheap brand. Has plastic case without metal plate, and no problem with that because they have good plastics. But I'm happy they do it here. It's anytime a more secure stuff when you have this plate holding this in place. So you have here a metal insert that's also standard in 1/8 scale. Much 110 has that not. It's also okay because you have lighter stuff, you have lighter wheels, you have less power in there, so it's okay. But at 1/8 scale it's really necessary. And there comes the strange point. The main gear front center differential is not a full steel part. This is a steel part. This is cold pressed steel, not machined. Push on with pressure on a plastic plate. So first of all, I hope that not gonna move away from that. That's something we see back in the time at other brands. And even if this is would be not my first choice to do it, I understand that it's okay, but I miss here the metal bushing. This is full plastic. As you see also, the drive cups has no little outcut here for the grease. That's something I like by many other brands. Many don't do it, many do it. I really prefer with here to can put grease in there. At metal side, it spins really super free. It's not a problem. At the plastic size you have, because it's new now, a little bit a harder turn. This is gonna be okay in a few runs. But what's strange for me is what's gonna happen. This is steel, this is plastics, this is gonna be the tentative, especially the way many brands give us the truck's RTR. We have here 60,000 CST in the front. In the middle maybe also. It's not, don't find it in the manual, so it's maybe, I feel it's like same front and rear, 60-60, and in the rear it's 30. So I'm gonna go a little bit harder. I don't gonna make the RTR stock version drive test. You already has enough, and we all see it's a short wheelbase, so the truck really gonna lift the front fast. The front tire gonna fast spinning, so I'm gonna go harder in the center. Not going too hard. I'm going for 300,000 CST in the center, and in the front I'm going for 150 CST. That's something I usually do on truck who has a little bit more weight in the front, like the Hobao Hyper MT with the battery tray in the front. I do that in the Savage, but I go to 500 CST in the Savage because the battery is in the middle, and I don't want to pull way more in the front. And here Team ASSO choose to get the weight rear. Battery is centered, but motor and ESC are in the rear. That means the truck is like the Traxxas Max, the weight in the rear, unlike the Corrali and the Armas, who has the weight a little bit more in the front. Center diff is more in the front, so the motor is more in the front, battery is more in the front. With a short wheelbase, I really prefer to have the way more in the front, because the truck gonna lift too fast the front wheels, you're gonna lose some steering, and it's gonna be easier. It's for sure, like the Traxxas Max, it's super easy to pop backflips that way. If you have the weight more in front, it's not so easy to pop backflips, but you have better control at the ground. So I don't gonna change something here at the weight distribution, but I'm gonna go a little bit harder oil. If you go too hard in the middle, remember, because it's so short, you're gonna lift even faster. But if with too thin oil, with 60,000 CST, the front tires are gonna spin too fast. Anytime you hit the throttle, you're gonna lose front control and the tires begin to spin. So the oil gonna be hot, the diff gonna be hot. It's not so bad as it looks, because this is the rear side, and in the front you have the steel, and the front tire gonna spin the most. So you have the most turning at the front, but the heat gonna be there. And what's gonna happen with the heat when you spin too fast? In 4S, maybe not gonna be an issue, but take care for you who are gonna drive this 6S. Here you're gonna have heat. If this is really good tough plastics, it's gonna hold on really well, and that's what I hope. That's why we're gonna drive it, and you're gonna see all 50 driving video, and we're gonna see what happens here. So I really hope that not gonna be overheating, that the oil not gonna begin to leaking really fast here at the output drives. That's something I do not like. I also hope that this is not gonna be so hot that we're gonna have the bearing moving around that. This is something happens in a truck we try. The Hobbytech Rogue Tira 110 scale monster truck has that issue. The plastic melts fast, the oil comes out, the bearing moves at the center diff, and there goes the breakdown. I feel good about the material they use for this tooth. Seems to be okay. Take care you everywhere have shimes. You have a shime at the center diff behind the rear bearing. You have a shime at every bearing gear side in the differential, and major strange stuff is in the differential. There you have both sides, two of them, and that's strange. That means or there was something wrong with the molding or the size of the tooth, so they have to shime it to get the stuff together, or they think something else is that this small shimes is an issue at Arma and an issue by Team Magic. All people like me who drives a lot know that if the diffs begin to be hot, this little shime slightly begin to bend to where sometimes they already disappear. When you open your diff in a Team Magic or an Arma after a hard run, it appears that two little shimes disappear, and the powder from that is in the oil. If you stop at time, you don't destroy the diff. If you stop too late, you destroy the diffs. So have they done this to provide that, to have more surface with oil and grease between, to have not too much issue with the heat? I don't know. The CVD, the dog bones, how I say, feels beefy, made from steel. Don't know which steel they do it, but it feels like pretty happy, pretty heavy. I am a little bit concerned the outputs are really small, but that don't mean they are bad. If it's good quality, it will be okay. However, I prefer, because we have more and more power in our truck, to get a little bit thicker walls on that and to have 4mm pins through that. Okay, this is something that is done at bigger trucks, 1/6 and 1/7 scale, but if a brand does it in a smaller truck, we all gonna be happy about that. But if the material is okay, we gonna have no issue with that. Arma does this really well. They also have small output drives and not too big X, but they hold on really well. The CVD and dog bone and drive cups by Arma are really good. The Corrali ones are not so good. Traxxas choose to make softer steel at output drives, so they wear faster, but at Emax and eRevo and Max, it's really easy to change from the outside. So it's also a good deal at this Traxxas sledge. We're gonna see what happens. I'm for now at the 50th run something for the moment, and I just have this little bump in the chassis, but no more. So we talk about anything. We talk about the axles, the suspension, the bearings, the transmission, the strange mechanical choice they make. This is not mean that is a bad choice. We're gonna see that only after running it many times. What's gonna happen to this parts here removes from these two parts, intake, main intake and the differentials. All that chime, what's gonna happen with that? We talk about body post, wheelie bar. So the front bumper is for me a little bit too soft, and this would be okay on a 10 scale truck. I would like to have something a little bit more beefy. His flex is gonna hold on, but because it's flex, you're also not gonna absorb too much heat before the stuff breaks in the car. The wheelie bar feels really tough. It's flex at the front way. You can squeeze it this way. This is okay, but not so much. But you not can squeeze it the other way. So I hope to not rip the bar off when I overroll. We're gonna see what happens. They choose plastic shock towers. That's not a bad thing, because many brands do alloy shock stands, and what happens? They bend. So Obao has plastics, HPI has plastics, which other brand has plastics? Shock tower, I mean flat ones. The best are for sure the V-shape from Traxxas, and it's the Arma 3S and the new 4S who comes. This is the best way to do a shock tower for me. This is gonna be a little bit flex, but we're gonna see what happens. They have the good idea to put a stand behind that to reinforce it. And at this reinforcement, they put the chassis brace and stiffener. Because of that choice, who is here at the gear cover, who is made from really thick and hard plastics, I really feel good about that. They choose to not put the stock chassis brace. That's nice, because you have room in the truck. By Arma, you have this one, this one, this one, this one, and the worst of all are still Corrali. Once again, Corrali does an under brace, two chassis brace, two reinforcement brace, an upper brace, and two upper brace. That's nuts. That's nuts. We see back in the time, we don't need it. If you take our Bauer Hyper ST Pro, 270/75 T6, 5mm thick shock towers, a top alloy front plate to this shock tower, alloy 70/75 T6 front chassis brace, bolted to the chassis, and an underneath plate from the differential, make also from 7075 T6, a rear chassis brace from shape alloy, and a rear little alloy part to put the shock tower in contact with the front, with the rear brace. That means nothing move in this ST Pro. It's a lightweight truck and it's still one of the toughest you can get on the market. So why did they go for so wild stuff? No one knows, but it's just because of that. They use weak alloy, or soft, not weak, you know, don't tell something about bad, but they take real soft alloy, too soft plastics, so they have to put more on there to be tough. Arma uses also not the best alloy, but they do it the V5 version, something we know on one scale cars. Don't forget, I'm a car mechanic since 2 or 3 decades. That means a little form in the steel to reinforce it, provided from too much flex. So RC brands now discovered that, so they use weak alloy like Traxxas at this ledge chassis. They use 58 alloy. It's a really soft alloy, easy to machine, easy to press, but with tooth reinforcement brace in there, even that weak chassis can handle heavy abuse at front and side and in rear hits. We have a really strange thing when you see what happens to the motor. The weight from the motor with the stress between main gear and motor mount, because it's separate. You have some stress with the weight and some gravel goes in the tooth, and the motor stresses the chassis and you bend the chassis at the motor side. All the rest don't move. I sent the truck on heavy jumps and heavy landing on the nose, on the back, on the side. This chassis is still straight, just not at motor side. We have this bump. You have to redo yourself your gear mesh. After that, it's okay. Don't put that bump back. You're gonna come out even faster. So once you have that bump in the chassis, let it run. Just make your gear adjustment and run. Arma has done the same thing before. For the heavy bashers, we still have the issue with bending the back from the chassis. By Corrali, it's happened even faster. So many of you use M2C chassis or Carrosserie chassis from Canada. If you don't know it, check it out. His website is kcrc.com. And Team ASSO at this Helion stuff, VCAR stuff, choose to do the same thing. They go for a flat chassis with some form in there, stamp it in there. It's a small chassis, that's nice. And we're gonna see, even it's a short chassis, so I'm not expecting him really to flex and move like the Carrosserie Scatter. The Carrosserie Scatter also takes it really easy with the hits at chassis side, but remember, he has reinforcement everywhere. So I'm happy about what I see the chassis. I'm happy with the brace and not too much brace. I'm happy with the gear cover. Receiver box is big enough for any receiver. You have a 25 kilogram servo with a steel servo or alloy, something not plastic servo horn. You have a counter strong here at the servo. That's nice. Horizon Hobby, please do that also on all your RTR. Stop with this non-counter stronged main stuff. That's boring. I'm happy with the suspension out from the box. Maybe the oil is a little bit thick. I really like the way Savage moves. It's really super soft. It goes in big off-road really easy. The tire bump around, the car leaves straight way. But if you jump a little bit higher, for sure you hit the ground. So that's why they put a little bit stiffer oil in there, or smaller hole in the pistons. It's a little, maybe a little bit stiff suspension wise, but it's still smooth because they choose springs with really tight narrow space between the springs, each string coil, and you're gonna maybe have just a nice ratio between not bumping too much around like a toy in off-road and really good land and good take the hits by jumping. Like Carrosserie the Scatter 2, they also have done a great job there. The suspension out from box from the setting is really nice, and you can use it around. That's something good. Servo is waterproof, steel gear. Receiver box is not waterproof. Receiver is not waterproof. Don't forget to put your rubber at the receiver. You know this old trick, just using a balloon. That's the best way to provide water to go in your receiver, even if you have a waterproof receiver. I tell it 100 times, but I continue to tell it. Waterproof receiver is a problem because many brands, because they have waterproof receiver, say, okay, we can just put it outside with all the wire bumbling around. I don't like it. I like receiver box, the wire nice and gently put in the box, away from anything we can hit them. But if you have a waterproof receiver, it works in the water, but the problem is you have, don't forget, you have 5 to 7 or 8 volts between plus and minus. And if water laying around there in your pin rack, you're gonna have some strange reaction from the car. If you don't believe me, try it. Take your Spectrum, because Horizon Hobby are the biggest specialists for that. Take your Lucy Super Rock Ray with your receiver laying flat, the pins at the top, and go pull water in there. Take tires away, put power on, and try to drive, heat, throttle, and turn with your AVC on it. Then you're gonna see, you're gonna have the strangest reaction you never see. The car do like back in the time with 27 megahertz. He gonna hit the throttle himself, he gonna stop himself, he gonna do that with the steering. Because the water create voltage flow between plus minus, so the receiver, even if he's waterproof, has shortcuts in there. It's not going to destroy him. If you dry it, you can still run, but so long the water is in, you have strange reactions. So please, brands, do receiver box waterproofs, or even if you not do it, don't forget to put a balloon around it. So people are gonna say, oh, if you put a balloon around it, you have gonna be issue with TSM, AVC, ESP, DVC. So put it to 0. Leave us alone with all that's too much electronic. We don't want TSM, AVC, TSP, and all that stuff. It's useless, especially in a forest. It's take you all the joy from using it. If you're gonna say, oh, but for beginner it's easier to learn to drive. If you are a beginner, all you have to do is to go with your dual rate, put less dual rate on the truck at steering and throttle, especially at throttle, and you're gonna better learn to use your truck as to has all full power with this TSM, AVC, TSM, ESP, DVC, and all that stupid stuff. For me, I don't like it, but if you like it, okay, use it. It's just my point of view. So receiver waterproof, motor waterproof. The rear bearing is sealed in there, it's not open. Don't forget, the motor can work in water, but water goes anytime in at same spots. water goes in here at the wire output. If it's open in there, many motor has an opening for the bearing, so water goes to the bearing. And major way from water and also dust, don't forget that, is to go through the motor through the not used front hole for fix the motor. Especially, I want to show you something. Many new motors has 4 3mm holes, 2 4mm, or 4 4mm, 4 3 holes, or something like that. They anytime have 4 6 holes in the front. You only use 2. The other 2 are open. There goes the sand in there, the dirt, the water, gonna through the motor still works, but all that stuff in there gonna destroy the Kevlar about the magnet, gonna destroy the bearings, gonna make them rusty because you don't open it after that, and you don't gonna put oil at your bearings, especially when it's closed here. So that's why I love something HPI does. The only brand at all the markets who does something about that, it's HPI. They put just a sticker on it and you have only 2 holes open. The just small tiny stickers who cost nothing. You can do it yourself with just some scotch. You can just use something like that. Put a piece on the motor, drill your 2 holes out, bolt your motor on, and it's closed. You even can go so far, so near as possible here from the main shaft to provide the main gearing to be dirted. Especially in all that truck who has no gear transmission cover. Here you have one, so the main gear is the main bearing is really good protected. ESC is an hobby ring, max quick run, but they do something here that's strange for me. They locked all possibility to change the setting. I do not understand that. You cannot change the cutoff, so I hope it's well set to 3.4. I hope the brake is not too much. Even if we can cheat with programming at the radio system, if the brake is like at the rival MT10, thanks to Razor RC, check out this channel. Razor RC has done you the tutorial how to change with cheating at programming from the endpoints from the throttle. With some cheating, you can have less brake because it brakes too much. So I hope here it's different. I love to can change my punch. Here I cannot. And I don't understand that. You can drive it 2 times 2S, but you have only 1 plug out there. You can drive it for sure 1 4S or 1 6S or 2 3S, but you have to take the Y wire, and I especially don't understand the DIN choice. We know since 20 years that DINs are not okay for heavy trucks and especially not for off-road trucks. Flat connectors like the Traxxas ones are anytime the worst choice you can make in a truck who is gonna flying around, take some shocks, some hits, and many vibration, because flat connectors can have a free play while choking around, causes an electrical arc like the coil from your 1 scale car. So that means if you put a 50-volt battery on there and you provoke the sparks, the spark can go up to 70-80 volts. This is gonna make going up the heat from the connector, not just the driving gonna heat it up. Most of the case this spark gonna heat it up and this gonna melt. Many of us has experience with that. If you use it on-road car, in a small car, or if you use 2, if you go driving 2S and 2 from these connectors, you have less stress on it because it's cut in half. The stress is just cut in half at each connector. so it's going to be okay in 4S. But one only connector with this power in a monster truck is a bad idea. Round connectors, XT90, ET5, XT150, all that stuff is the choice to put in there. So I really encourage you, don't know how to say in this was a French word. Encourager is to, not to pump you up, but cut this away and put a real connector in it. Really. Also forget to put some adapter connector, because an adapter is a trap. The more you have connectors on it, the more you have risk to have some sparks and something gonna be melt or overheat or destroy or disconnect even when you drive. It's also a problem with these ones. Many times if you take some hard hit, it just pop off. So motor choice, a 68mm motor in 4042 is enough for move the car. You have a nice power, especially in the fact you can go up to 6S. It's a fact, if you use a 74mm motor, you're gonna have to 1 horsepower more. And not just 1 horsepower more on 50 or 100 horsepower. Such size of motor usually pull out 1700 watts, 1500, 1700. The bigger ones, the 74, can pull up to 2400 to 2800 for the best ones. That means 3.5 horsepower, and this one only 2.5 to 2.7 horsepower. It's enough to move the truck, but if you put the same gear, the same kV, but this 1 little horsepower more, you're gonna have less heat issue. In statics, these motors use less amp because it's smaller rotor, smaller torque, so it uses less power to move. But the other one with 1 horsepower more in dynamic use less power, in fact, because he has more torque, so he has easier way to lift the weight from the truck by starting. It's easier for him to keep the same speed because you take also 200 kV or 2100 or 2000 to 2100 kV, but the same pinion. So clear, if you put a bigger pinion, you're gonna go faster and use more amp. But with the same pinion, with the same kV, the truck gonna move easier. I experience with this since many years. I have to take the time to show you. I'm gonna use this one for show you, because the last time I used the Carrosserie scatter with this same size motor, and beneath of that I used the VS2 with unbreakable body with the same size tires at the Carrosserie scatter. So I make from the buggy the same truck as the Carrosserie scatter. The Hobau, however, is from better quality from transmission side and from alloy side, so it was 500 grams less heavy. That means 20% lighter than the Carrosserie scatter in same shape. But I have put in the Hobau a 74mm motor with 2000 kV, and I had the 86 in the Carrosserie. No, I put the 2200 in the Hobau. So in effect, with the same battery, the Hobau was faster from 5 km an hour than the Carrosserie and run longer. We had more runtime in the Hobau at same spot. I drive so crazy, the one like the other. Not extreme crazy, not destruction crazy, just hard on throttle. With the Carrosserie I was able to reach a 4-hour runtime. Then the motor was by 80-90 degree, the ESC was by 80-90 degree, the battery was at 60 degree with 25 degree. I anytime spoke in Celsius. Don't forget, I'm from Europe. So in same condition, the Hobau was by 45 at battery, not 60. 60 is critical for battery. 45 at battery only. 70 only at motor and 45 only at ESC, with a little bit more speed and more runtime, about 5 minutes more. I drive 20 minutes with the same battery, but I think also this little bit runtime more was about the 500 gram less. 500 gram is a big amount if you regarding the fact that one truck was 5 kilograms and something and the other 4.5. So this has 5 kilograms. It's heavier like the scatter because of heavier tire. Corrales scatter has 220 gram tires, small. This baby has 400 gram more tires on the truck. That's why it's heavier, because in the beginning I really wonder why is this truck so much heavier than the Carrosserie version, because I not expected this tire to be so heavy. So I'm gonna drive it stock, and after a few drive it stock, I'm gonna put here a 2274 millimeter motor in with the same gearing. I'm gonna be faster because I'm gonna have 100 kV more. Okay, but you're gonna see that we have less heat and better runtime, and this horsepower more is also super nice in the air. I don't tell you that to say you have to change it because the truck works fine. They have the good idea to go down to a 10-tooth pinion gear. I do not like especially so small pinion at main gears, but they have rear gear. The gearing in differential seems to look like good. I expected this thing to be noiseless because of the flat tooth, like the sledge at beginning. The 5, 6, 7 first packs with my sledge, it was really quiet because of that type of tooth. Because Obao, Arma, Corrales are all a little bit more noisy because of this shape of tooth and not the straight style of tooth. But how I say, the motor moves a little bit and then he begins to be noisy also. So I hope this one is gonna be quiet. I personally, if you know me, I really love main plastic spur gears in my trucks. It's so noiseless, so smooth, and if something locks the transmission, I just lose a tooth. $5 to change the main gear, 2 minutes job. It's nice. So about that, I forget to talk about mechanical access. Carrosserie has messed it up because at the beginning they thinking fast access at the buggy, but regarding the fact to put a bumper on, a reinforcement on a reinforcement and a reinforcement, it's no more easy to get at the differential. It's not a big deal, but you have to unscrew more stuff. Traxxas Max, really easy to get on the stuff. Savage Flux, especially the XL, because you have a DX also. You have a fast access to the center. The X, you have no center diff. Here you have one, so this one is also, it was always fast front and rear to get at the differential, and now it's super fast to get the center diff. Obao is not so easy. Sen is not the worst, but you need really more time on a Sen Report GST to get at front and rear differential. Center is easy. Technorce is easy to get on the stuff. And this one maybe is the champ. It's really easy to go. You have some screw mores in the center because you have 4 screws for what hold the differential, and you have 3 screw here underneath for reinforcement from this part because you get the stiffener on it, and 2 screws for the stiffener for sure. But it's really fast to go in it. Take care, you have Loctite on there. I have to heat it up because the screw won't come out until the head ribs off. So I heat it up to don't destroy the head from the screw. Have a little bit of fight to take it out. It was okay, it comes out. This is a good point. Really fast to go at the servo saver, unlike many brands. And front and rear diff, the only thing you have to do, I put here all away for the video but you don't need it. You have to put away 2 screws here, 2 screws in the top M3, and 2 screw M3 beneath here, and you can so easy pop off your front gear cover and just take the diff out without putting anything away at the shocks or something else. That's something nice. In the rear, same thing, just put the 2 underneath screws here from the wheelie bar, put it in the top, 4 screws more, and diff is out. So that's also a good point. Battery tray is a little bit short. You can put standard size battery in there. You can move it 5 millimeters in front and rear, that's all. We have more room in the front. They can go 2 centimeters more in the front. They don't do it, it's not a big deal. If you want to move the weight more in front, use a shorty battery, so you can easily put the battery just in front to compensate the rest. I like 2 Velcro straps. They give you a little cover to put on it. Where is it? Here. So that's nice if you drive soft case. To not so the battery is really nice catch in there. If you use a hard case, I don't know if you really need that. So, and another good point is the ESC mount. The ESC is mounted on a hold, and the whole hold just bolt with 2 screws underneath. It's just make for this Hobby quick run ESC. So if you put another ESC on there, if you're gonna put a Max ESC or I mean the Hobby Max series, not the Traxxas Max. If you put the castle on it, you're gonna make something else. But I like that. ESC is catched and bolt. That's a good point. I don't expect them to have screw the ESC on the plate. I have not disassembled yet to see in there, but I think it's gonna be okay. Because on many brands also we don't see a real mount for ESC. The most of the time is just put with some double side tape, but it's not the best. I really like my ESC to be bolt and catched on the car, especially at basher cars. On road it's okay, but not in a bash car. I also like the fact you have to put 2 screws out for take the ESC out, 2 screw here for the receiver box, 4 for the servo, 5 if you put the servo horn away, and then you can just take your electronic, put it on the side, put the motor out, and clean the car. That's good. That's something also Carrosserie messed up. They put the side walls here, not from underneath with screws, like the good idea from Technos. Technos is just amazing. The way they solved that. You just unscrew the side walls at the truck and your electronic is out. That's just genius. At Carrosserie, the screws are underneath the electronic. So the side walls keep you to go on the screws to put the electronic away, but you have to put the electronic away to put the side walls away. Do you mean what I mean? Do you understand what I mean? It's a little bit strange. TMS also put some strange caps on there. It's just for decoration. I put it to trash. I don't like that. Don't need that. I want to go fast to my wheel hacks on the field. Don't need that. And something is left. We don't check it. I don't check it. And the French video, I just don't check. Check it. Not shake. Shake it. I'm hungry. I want a milkshake. A banana milkshake. So, another good point. These things are shaped in the shock tower, so you have less pressure. Not gonna be cut out. That's nice. So we're gonna check something. Horizon Hobby has a problem with shock. Anytime you put the shock shafts full in the truck, even with that, we see on Horizon OBR trucks, if you have not enough bump stops, the nuts over there gonna destroy here the silicone part which is over there. So that's not good. It's like at the Corally, a really thin and not good in place stuff. Look at this, it's already squeezed the wrong way. That's not good. And now we're gonna see if the screw gonna hit. That's just the oil, no fear. No, it's okay. There's no screw in there, it's just a pin. Don't can show you here. The oil gonna come out. Oh, it's already rusty. I'm gonna show you. Moment, I'm gonna take some. Yeah. Don't know if you see that, but the E-clips is rusty. But it's not gonna hit the membrane here, that part. But I really not like the way it's done. So that's not a good point. I don't know if I'm gonna drive that way or if I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna put maybe some Hobao stuff in there to not have any issue with losing oil. We have no oil in there. Sorry, I'm just speaking in nothing. So we have no hole in the cap. That means you cannot pull the air out. That's stupid. I don't like that. So you have to move the cap so the oil and the air can go through the threads to go out. That's not nice. So, however, I'm gonna pull this truck together, change my center diff and front oil, gonna leave all the rest stock, and then we're gonna drive it. Guys, I hope this review was complete, that my English was okay, that you understand me, and I'm really gonna happy to see your comments, guy. Talk to me. Even if you're not happy with me, tell it. If you know more than me and this truck, it's not a crazy thing to know more than I. Tell me. If you have some special issue with the truck, tell me. What did you change? Have you find some option for provide your problem to be there? If you have a problem with the truck, I wait for you in the comment section, guys. See you soon. Bye. Have a nice day. A special shout out to 6 Shooter Memphis, USA, to RC in England, and Just PX also always there on my videos. All the guys from Taiwan who are there, all the guys from Dubai and Arabic RC who are there and watching me and the English videos, all the Canadian guys who are not speaking French, all the Russian guys who are there also, because I'm really happy to see I'm a small channel. I not want to be a big great channel, and I'm super happy to see how many people around the world are subscribed by me and look my videos and share and comment with me, no matter from which country you are, from which religion, if you are and even if you are a Martian, you are welcome here, because we love any RC and anyone. Bye, guys.